some rough stuff in this episode. We're going to cover how Israel, Palestine, and the Russia-Ukraine wars affect tourism in Thailand, any resentment from Thai locals towards tourists and expats, and why is it that maybe it's easier for the Thais to warm to people from Anglo-Saxon countries like the US, UK, Australia, Canada, comparing to people from Israel, and many more. Stay tuned. Well, this episode, you have to know that it's the continuity of the last episode. In the last episode, I talk about the Thai perception towards the government's policy change of free tourist visa from 60 days to 30 days. If you want to hear more about that, then go and watch that episode. Otherwise, in this episode, I'm going to talk about the people that may be having this hostile feelings towards tourists or expats in Thailand. But before we start, I have a disclaimer to say my opinion is of one single person. I don't represent the whole country, but I represent myself who's been observing this dynamic for the past 40 years of my existence. When it comes to frictions between locals and tourists or expats, there are two different dynamics here. When you see comments online from Thai people that show the dissatisfaction towards foreigners, they can be categorized in these two camps. The first one isn't happy with how certain tourists going bonker, some rowdy behavior. The second camp is the one that would be living alongside the expats. Let's say if you think about places like Koh Phangan, this full moon party island in Thailand, or Pai, this small little hippie village outside of Chiang Mai. These two places have this influx of people from outside of Thailand move and live there and create this community. And there's a little bit of contention in these places. There are actually 4 incidents, more than 4 really, but I just simplify things, that contribute to an influx of people outside of Thailand moving into this country. The first one is the digital nomad movement, which started roughly around 2014, 2015, which is more exacerbated because of COVID, when people realize they can work remotely. So right now, there are actually a lot of people that would move to places like Thailand or Bali, Indonesia, or Da Nang, Vietnam, to stay there for a few months, and often they would do this route, like 3 months here, 3 months there, using these local locations to work from. The second incident is the Russia-Ukraine war. When the war started, you could see that more and more, let's say, Russian people have moved to Thailand in a high number. Makes sense. Third incident is the Israel-Palestine war, which sees an increase of Israel people moving to Thailand in an accelerated number. And the fourth incident, which is still quite minor, is what I witnessed in Chiang Mai, where people from the US moved here fearing for their safety. I think there's a lot of people that sense this polarization, political polarization in the US, and want to be away from it. I think part of it is also the fact that the cost of living and cost of healthcare right now is too much in the US. If I have to go from incident to incident, I would say that American moving to Thailand because of the political polarization and the digital nomad movement don't actually create conflict as of yet. And I don't think that there would be conflicts that come from this. The Americans that moved here, from what I noticed, are very grateful for the fact that they could have a second home. And the digital nomads often have little contact with locals, which in some ways is interesting. But I think for a lot of people that call themselves digital nomads, they are more concerned with the locations of where they could work, where they could improve their livelihood rather than connecting with locals. And it doesn't help that you keep moving around after a few months. Having said that, this is just my perspective. There are digital nomads that behave differently. Some of them might even want to get a permanent residency at some point. Speaking of the topic of digital nomads not connecting with the local communities, if you're different, if you want to change that, if you are the conscientious kind, if you are the one who actually try to bridge the gap between digital nomads and the local communities, I would highly recommend this event called CosmolocalCNX. So this is an event. This is actually a festival that will happen in Chiang Mai this September, and I'm one of the local ambassadors. There's going to be a lot of events there, co-living, co-learning, building connections, workshops, so on and so forth. I personally know the founders of this initiative, and I really believe in their vision. If you are interested, just go to CosmolocalCNX.com. Make sure that you enter this code Thailander26 to get a 10% discount as well. See you there. Now, the two contention groups are the one that moved here because of the Russia-Ukraine war and because of the Israel-Palestine war. And I would say that some of the conflicts stemmed from personality differences. I have noticed, for example, that when it comes to immigrants or expats from, let's say, Anglo-Saxon countries, even though these countries, let's say the UK, the US, even though the cultures are very different from Thailand, there is still enough similarity when it comes to communication style, which helps reduce conflicts. Communications problems. What I have witnessed when it comes to communications problem is that there are two big communication styles that people would have on average. There are cultures that people tend to speak more bluntly, more assertively. I could see that people from Eastern European countries, from Slavic countries, Israel, Russians, tend to speak quite assertively and strongly and directly, whereas countries like Thailand, Asia, or Anglo-Saxon countries like the US, UK, Australia, people tend to speak more in the way that leave a lot to be read between the lines. To dive deeper into this, there are two different cultures in the world, roughly. There's a culture that prefers niceness over directness, and there are cultures that value directness over niceness. Israel culture is such culture that values directness over niceness. They have this term, dugri. It's a popular Hebrew slang meaning straight talk, no BS honesty, or telling it like it is. So for Israeli people, this is a sign of respect, to be frank, to be direct. Authenticity means to be honest and direct. Russian culture is similar as well. There is this term, iskrenost, which means sincerity and authenticity of emotional expression. So the Russian culture also values directness over niceness because they perceive that direct communication is seen as respectful honesty rather than rudeness. So now compare this type of culture with a culture where people speak English. Imagine if you are a native English speaker going to a restaurant, ordering food. You would say something like, "Can I have?" "I would like," or if you want to go over the top, you would say something like, "I was wondering if I could have." It's very rare to hear people say something like, "Give me that," or "I want this," or "I want that." In Thai culture as well, when it comes to valuing niceness over directness, you would see that there are clues in famous Thai expressions. We have this expression, น้ำขุ่นไว้ใน น้ำใสไว้นอก, which means keep the muddy water inside, keep clear water outside. Any conflicts, something that could cause frictions, keep it in. Just show the easier part to the people. Just show your harmonious self to the people to avoid conflicts. Another expression บัวไม่ให้ช้ำน้ำไม่ให้ขุ่น which literally means don't bruise the lotus, don't muddy the water. This means that when you handle a situation, do it so that nobody gets hurt or that would create any conflict, to preserve harmony, to preserve the relationships, and to avoid unnecessary damage to either side. And so when you have a group of Russian people or Israeli people dealing with Thai people in a way that is quite assertive, not even rude, sometimes it could be taken as, wow, like why do they say this? It's too strong, you know. Once I was playing tennis with an Israeli friend. I was recommended this guy to play tennis with, so we met for the first time. So we play tennis in court 1. The court 2 is empty, and there is a group of people playing at court 3. He asked me if I could recommend anyone that would coach him to improve his tennis ability. I said, no, I don't have any idea. During the break, he started shouting to court 3, so we were at court 1. He was like, hey guys, do you know anyone who coaches? And to me, that was mind-blowing. I was so impressed actually by how chill he is in just shouting from court 1 to court 3, asking for what he wants. I don't ever think that would happen in Thailand or in the UK even. I think we would just walk there and say hi, excuse me, and then, you know, ask questions. But just the matter of fact that he nonchalantly shouted from court 1 to court 3 impresses me. But then again, this is the point where I think culture difference, behavioral difference could create conflicts and misunderstandings. Now, I want to talk about factors that make this group of Thai people seem to be anti-tourists or expats. First up, the fear of losing their livelihood. So the fear of losing livelihood stems from the fact that because the influx of people moving in or because of the tourists, their livelihood would change forever. I think Thailand is one of the more welcoming places in the world. On the baseline, this is the country that has quite high tolerance towards different behaviors. But I think what causes the conflict here is when a certain group of people going into one place and start to do things that make the local feel like, oh, are they coming here to change our livelihood? For example, there was this contention, there was this news about a group of Israelis wanting to found a synagogue in Pai, for example. And correction, this Chabad of Pai, this synagogue has been there for a while since 2019. So the first Chabad in Thailand happened in 1993, and then there is this satellite synagogue Chabad in Pai in 2019. And the drama surrounding this is that the locals are fearing that with the influx of the Israelis, that they would turn Pai, the town Pai, into a promised land and permanently altering its demographics. And the government has looked into it and found the synagogue to be operating just legally. So I think that's the end of the drama from the legal point of view. I seem to have this bad habit of interrupting myself, but I just want you to know that I want to present the information that is as correct as possible and as fair as possible for all the parties involved. If you would like to support this channel, if you learned something from this channel, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to this channel. You can also share the content to other people that might get some benefit out of it. Alternatively, you can also help support this channel on a donation-based basis. buymeacoffee.com/RealThailander, or as the QR code appears here. I would also like to talk about our sponsor, which is ourselves, me and my friend. We have developed this app to help you learn Thai. The app is called Speekeo. If you go to speekeo.com, speekeo.com, you can go there and download the app to use on your phone for free. Try it out. On Koh Phangan right now, there's a lot of companies, there are a lot of businesses that use Thai people as nominees in the business because under Thai law, there must be at least, I think, 51% shares by the Thai people in each business in Thailand. These businesses on Koh Phangan right now are actually owned by foreigners that pay Thai people to be nominees. And because of this, or maybe not because of this exactly, because of tourism in general, the price of things increase real fast. But it's scary. Now the locals can't afford accommodation and lands and services in the way that they used to be because of this foreign investment. Not even just local themselves, but also the expats that live on the islands also experience the price increase in accommodations. So people start moving away further from the sea to more and more inland. So they could find a place that they could afford. I think on top of that, from the just superficial point of view, it's also quite otherworldly. When you walk into your home, let's say your home is Koh Phangan, and you only see mostly just people that don't look Thai hanging out. When I was on Koh Phangan for a few months during COVID, so that it was actually even before the Israel-Palestine war, I noticed that in a lot of cafes and restaurants, I had to speak English for the waiting staff to understand me, which is, to be fair, it's not a problem, but it does bring this question about how Thai is the place anymore, and you can't help but wonder what would happen when your parents, when your Thai grandparents or someone that doesn't speak English come here. What kind of services could they use? What kind of facilities? It weirds me out a little bit. And this is from someone who's pro connectivity in the world as well. Like, I believe in free movement. I believe in the idea of allowing people to roam around more freely. But when it's too much, when I go to a Thai place that doesn't feel like Thailand anymore, it makes me feel weirded out. And I think that a lot of Thai people also feel the same way as well. I think there are many places in Thailand that exudes being a foreign town inside of Thailand itself. I remember that when I was young, when I went to Phi Phi Island, I would rarely see any Thai person. And nowadays, when I go to Pai, when I go to Koh Phangan, it feels not like Thailand anymore. You see sometimes Thai people in the service section as service staff, but you don't see that many Thai people that are there. And I don't know why. Is it because Thai people can't afford it? Or is it because Thailand promotes these places so much for foreign tourists that it weirds out the local tourists? I have no idea. The last time that I went to Pai, I experienced this very weird sensation. So I was there with my friends who's from Vietnam, and we went to the walking street, and there were just no Thai people. I think most of the people there at the moment are from Israel. I had this conversation with my friends who were from Vietnam, who worked in the tourism industry in Vietnam. And one of the things that they said was very interesting. They said that in Vietnam, even the most touristic places wouldn't be like this, wouldn't be like just tourists and no locals. There's still some sort of balance between this touristic place being shared by the local and the foreign communities. Sometimes Thai people are also feeling othered by the other Thai people itself, and I think this is related to what I've said before when it comes to me going to places like Pai, Koh Phangan or Phi Phi, where they usually are used to cater to foreign tourists. During COVID, I traveled to Koh Phangan, the full moon party island. I didn't know then, but I actually ended up staying on that island for 4 months. But the moment that I arrived, I remember I took a motorbike taxi, this Thai guy driving me from the pier to my hotel. On the way, he was trying to have this serious conversation with me, which I didn't like because it's really hard to hear when you're on a bike. But he was complaining. He was saying something that is very peculiar. He was telling me that there is no tourist right now because it's COVID. This is early 2021. But when there was tourists before COVID, the sex workers didn't even sell themselves to a Thai customer. And I thought to myself, why should he tell me this story? But then it came to me that this came out of him from a place of anger. I think he bottled things up. From his point of view, he probably felt discriminated against as a local person. I mean, when I think about this logistically and logically, I could see why some establishments don't want to offer the service to a Thai customer, and that is because, strange as it may sound, the sex work industry is still illegal in Thailand. So, of course, they are afraid that the Thai customers are tourist spies, police spies, sorry, not tourist spies. So that makes sense. But I could see that he's angry with the tourists and he's angry with the Thai local industry that doesn't give him the service. When it comes to bike rental as well, when you go to a more touristic place like Chiang Mai or Koh Phangan, sometimes as a local, I experience that it's harder for me to rent a motorbike. There is a little bit more distrust. Sometimes I got asked for not just my ID, but the deposit, which is more than what a foreign person would pay. There was actually this drama a few months ago of a Thai celebrity who went to Koh Phangan and she was asked for 10,000 baht. So that is probably 280 US dollars for a deposit of a motorbike. When I think about it from the logical point of view, again, it makes sense because for tourists, when they rent a bike, if they don't return the bike or steal the bike for some reason, then you can block them from leaving the country. But there were cases of Thai people stealing motorbikes on this island or in Chiang Mai or wherever. So I think that's one of the reasons why they make it more difficult for locals to get the bike rental. Still, I could see that from the customer point of view, this feels like you are discriminated against, and I just feel sad, this whole dynamic really. Sometimes it makes people question their Thainess, or it makes them question their worthiness and credibility in the world. And I could see why when some of us were treated this way and we couldn't come up with the explanation that helps assuage our angst, that we would start hating on tourists who get treated better. Having said that, I always have to have this disclaimer that I also don't think that Thai people treat all of the tourists the same way, sadly. And obviously, I think there are certain looks in tourists and expats that get treated better. I think if you are West looking, if you are Caucasian passing or mixed passing, then you get treated better. If you are East Asian looking in a way that looks like Japanese or Korean, you also get treated really well. Chinese tourists get treated ambivalently, so to say, sadly. And I think Southeast Asian tourists sometimes don't get the visibility at all, and some of them are even discriminated against. Actually, there's one thing that bothers me a lot, and you know, like in Thailand, there are often two price systems for national parks, Thai and foreign tourists. And for me, it doesn't make sense for a lot of people from Southeast Asia to have to pay the same price when they are actually worse off. Also, I don't think that expats who pay taxes in Thailand should pay different price either. I mean, in my point of view, I feel like the price should have been just one price, but if there are two different pricing systems, they should have been better categorized, based on, let's say, ASEAN people have this rate and people who pay taxes in Thailand have this rate that are different from the tourist rate, which is sometimes 10 times higher than a Thai tourist. Direct disrespectful behaviors towards the local cultures and Buddhism. So this is also one of the ways for you to get hated really fast in Thailand. Let's say if you go topless, men or women, in the temples, if you pose with the Buddha statues in a way that is impolite, the locals would definitely not like that. Or if you say something that is really outlandish. There was a video of this one woman who was on Koh Phangan. She was in a cafe. From what we've seen, like we've seen the short video, but I think before the video was taken, it implied that they were having this argument about the fact that the customer, didn't want to take her shoes off. And then she said to the camera that I can do what I want because my money builds your country. It was actually quite hilarious to look at that. I could see why people are upset with it. I think what this Israeli tourist meant was that her money helps contribute to the economy. I mean, keep in mind that this is not a native English speaker. Having said that, it's such a weird thing to say. Maybe she's a bit high or something, we don't know. But that clip became really viral. Me and my friends started doing this joke. Every time we wanted to one up the other, I would tell my friend, my money builds your country. Anyway, I think for a lot of people that was really offensive, and that is one of the ways to get you hated by a Thai real fast. And I think that videos also make the impression of Israeli people in Thailand go down real fast. And of course, I think when I talked about, tourists and expats, I also need to mention that sometimes, the expats that live in Thailand can also live in a different form that we are used to. Most people would imagine expats as from developed countries or from like first world countries. But we have a lot of people from Myanmar living here as well, trying to stay away from the war. In my opinion, I feel like Thailand could have done better in helping these people to get to live here in this country. It's just my opinion, and I feel so much compassion towards the people in this situation. I mean, I can also understand why people from Russia and Israel want to move and live here as well, but more so people in the neighboring countries, I feel like they struggle a lot, and even with less financial stability as well, and no one seems to care about them sometimes. Anyhow, thank you for watching this episode. Please click like and subscribe and leave the comments about what you think. And if you want to support this channel, you can do so on Buy Me at coffee.com/RealThailander. Thank you.